If I think about like how the behavior that Sarah had versus who Sarah was, it's two different things. Like, she at this place she seems as she's kind of insecure actually. If you think about it, Sarah, not Sarah, but Sarah in this story, at this place where God's finding her, and right in transformation, she was insecure.
Yep. That's
but
true.
Sarah, after God fulfills the promise, when she comes through the transformation, she is a lot more confident. One, because of the experience God gave on how He delivered the promise. So again, it's that value in really recognizing, being able to see God in the transformation. Like I say, what I consider transformation equivalent to wilderness, because wilderness is a place where you really can't see what you're going to become. You know what God said, but it's really, sometimes we only focus on the promise part, the end result. Like, children, and we always talk about children Israel. They waited 400 years around the mountain, but then they got to the promised land. But when I thought about the story, this is kind of off subject, but God was bringing to my attention this week about, I thought about this in the timeline. Joshua and Caleb, when they went to go see the Amalekites in the actual land that God promised them, that was kind of like the event before them actually fully coming out of the transformation, the transition. And the concept around them is almost like you could lose sight of the fact of you as in the children of Israel, us as in where we in the position of wilderness and transformation, who God really has become to you, so that you can use that to understand fully who you are and what God wants to demonstrate through you when you get there. Because, they were saying, think about it, they went through 400 years. God led them through Moses. Moses actually was a little insecure too in the wilderness, in that process. But God still consistently delivers certain very specific things to show for His ability.
Right.
Without that process, we wouldn't know God had the ability to part the Red Sea. Basically, you can see the Red Sea is basically inserted in impossibility where there's limits, basically. That's essentially what it was, because there was no way for them to go for it. It was like, there is nothing here in physical existence that would cause us to be able to actually make it to where He said. And now this is an obstacle bigger than us. And God was like, hold on. There is something more that I can do. There is something more about me that you don't know yet. Yeah, you've seen a lot about me, but let me show you this. And then He Moses, he put the staff in over there to see His part.
Right. When
you think about them going to, not long after that, they went through all of those series. I could name multiple, like God being, fire by day. And, He gave them being, a cloud by day, a fire by night. Like that concept. And God also like delivering them bread. We gave them manna, like giving them food daily in the wilderness. The wilderness, you've seen. Well, I'm not a big like survival and fitness kind of person, but you've seen those shows where they basically said, like cannibals, basically.
Right.
Eat this person to survive. And here is God. God is like, not only am I going to give you something, I'm going to give you something new every single day.
Right.
The wilderness don't have that characteristic. The wilderness, like, be resourceful. Make that thing that in normal circumstances you wouldn't use this. You wouldn't even look to that. And God's like, no, I'm going to give you something fresh.
Yeah.
Again, so like in that saying, it shows you like God's like, not only I bring the wilderness of transformation, like Hagar, like Abraham, like Sarah, not shouldn't say Abram. The concept of like right before a transition, right before God delivers the promise, He wants to solidify the mindset that's needed, like Pastor Sonja talking about more, to be able to actually sustain going into the promised land. Because look, Joshua and Caleb was the only ones still had the right mindset when they faced the place that God was showing them. He went to send them to serve, and it was like, those men are big. Like, how can we can't go there? And then they came back and said the same thing, even though they had went through because they said they was separated out of the same, the people that was left, the 12, they sent them to go ahead. So clearly they was amongst that group. They wasn't somebody that came externally and adopted into this area. They came from the group that saw. And God was like, wait, you still forget it. In other words, transformation, I look at it like that's the turn on waiting. And when you insert El Roi, because El Roi is like, I see you and you see me. In other words, you take the culmination of the things you experience, negative and positive. I'm not omitting one over the other. I'm not giving one greater value than the other, and recognize that they all have a part in my formation, in my becoming, you could say. In my solidifying my value, in my establishing my work. And let that be the thing that propels you forward, no matter what else comes. Because that's essentially what happened. God was
Yeah.
like, you did all of this, and then you see this over here, you're right here, and then you like, this is too big. I heard you guys talking to myself. This is too big. I was like, wait, hold on, there's more. Can you not, did you not forget? Yeah, you was, it's, remember when I did this? Not only am I letting that drop away, but I'm also causing this to form a new thing in you.
Mm-hmm.
One, a new way of seeing,
Yeah.
a new way of being, a new way of relating and understanding me and how I do things. Because I mean, it's that question that people get like, how can God allow tragedy? And God's like, it's because it's for this very purpose. My ways are higher than your ways. My thoughts are higher. In other words, I recognize that every part has a process, a part of the process to your formation, for your understanding of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to reveal your ability. To me, that's like, I don't know, that's profound. It's really hard to understand when you're in a place that you don't want to be in. But when you think about our world, I think that that's kind of what this song presents. It's the reminder that there is something greater in spite of where I am, and I don't have to ignore this part of devastation or this part that I feel is negative in order to actually get there. I can embrace the both.
Absolutely.
I can embrace the good and the bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And still see.
And I think being able to do that builds character in you for you to be able to arrive at the place that you're supposed to be, or even go back to the place that you're supposed to be. And I think that's the transformation that has to take place in order for you to like fully see and be seen.
Yeah, I think that's out of everything we talked about, I think that's the message. I think that's where God is like, this is what I'm releasing through the song. This is what I want you to know about me. And this is going to help prepare the heart and help you navigate emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, whatever the area is that is requiring transformation. When you're looking for God, the need that you have and the desire that you have, maybe it's not fully, you don't see it as being met. God is like, I'm bringing this part of me into this picture so that you can be able to understand how this is working for your good. I think it's basically like a reminder. It's a sticky note. Like, hey, I'm recalculating you.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know my position so that you could choose willingly to take my invitation to see something new and to see yourself new. Not connected to the circumstances or the outcomes.
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately what message, what he's wanting to communicate to the people through the song.
I would agree with that. Thank you. Thank you so much for just exploring the message behind this song. And I trust that what has been shared will be a blessing to everyone who has a chance to hear or see our conversation today. And if you are interested in following Melissa on social media, can you say what your handle is and on what platforms you're on?
Oh, that's a good question. So that's on embark transformation. But on Instagram and Facebook, as it relates to the business, if you're looking for the creative and some of the products like the earrings, I'm more so into that area. It's Desire Pairs Designs, and that's on Instagram. That's on all social media platforms, specifically Instagram and Facebook. It's the same handle. And for me personally, as it relates to like, encouragement, inspiration, revelation, insight, and just following my personal journey, it's Melissa D. Sophia. And that's on both, again, Instagram and social media. As you can see, I prefer consistency. No aliases here.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Melissa, and thanks to everyone for listening in on the message behind the music with King's Daughter Music.